All right, guys, for the first part of this ebook, we're going to work on Singleback formation, and we're going to basically go ahead and leverage 4 different formations in this particular scheme. We're going to be leveraging the doubles south, the doubles formation, the Y trips, and then also the Singleback tray. All of these formations you can easily access with a quick audible. So my preference is to usually select a formation that's kind of in between all of them. So I have I have my formations that I'm going to be working on the edges. So I'm either going to come out of the doubles or the Y trips. Probably I'm going to be using more of the doubles is my main formation and kind of building from there. So let's go ahead and talk about basically the formation doubles. Right now we have slants, halfback dive, 4 verticals, and then play action deep post, which is the best of these 3 plays. The double slants, I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, and the play I'm going to swap it out with is going to be a quick snap play that I'm going to use, and that's going to be the slot seam. Halfback dive, I might leave that in, or I might swap it out. I'm probably going to go ahead and leave that in is one of my base plays. So it just gives me something a little bit more consistent. But if I was going to swap it out, if I do have any kind of like a draw play, I'll usually throw that in, or I can actually throw in maybe a jet sweep just to keep my opponent guessing. 4 verticals, we're going to swap that out. And I'm going to swap that out for this play, which is going to be fade smash. This is going to give you a cover 2 beater and then also allow you to attack your opponent off to the right-hand side. Now, let's just call the play out of the huddle that I probably would call out of this formation, which is going to be the halfback misdirection. This is one of the more glitchier running plays in the game because the blocking gets depth, it gets to second level a little bit quicker, just because the defenders don't play this correctly. So this is what I like about this particular play and why I like to throw this into your scheme. Now, granted, you could potentially have a guy that's going to shoot a gap, but you could see, look what happens with the defenders. These guys are playing run fits, the linebackers, but they don't react to the run. They kind of stop. See how these guys kind of stop? These guys, this guy in this run fit is coming down and actually playing the ball, but look at the linebackers. And linebackers don't necessarily know what to do. They're just kind of like preoccupied, and I've got a double team. And all I really have to do is just kind of choose which direction I want to go with the hole. I can either run it right up the middle or essentially go ahead and run it off to the side. So it's going to provide me potentially 3 different holes to run. Now, if I wanted to, if my guy's spreading his guys out, I can just go with a standard dive and just throw the ball, run the ball right up the middle. But this will allow you to attack your opponent off to the right, to the left. It doesn't really kick it too far out to the outside, but this is going to be more of a passing scheme. So let's take a look at slot seam. Slot seam, if I've got the ball off to the right side of the hash and I can do a wheel, I'm going to go with the wheel route because it's a little bit more consistent. And that's going to be essentially the first area that I'm going to look at. I'm going to look to the wheel route and then out and then the in. If the defenders float up, I'm going to hit the wheel. I want to force my opponent to go ahead and defend the numbers on this formation. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult for him to do that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, also I might have outside a guy on the right that there might be no coverage that falls out there. So I'm just going to show you my open field reads. You can see right now from a leverage standpoint, this guy's off the line of scrimmage. He's out here. I don't have another defender floating in the area. So all I'm really going to do is watch this edge defender, or I'm going to watch this defender to see what happens with the coverage. They don't slide out. Well, this guy kind of slides out, but there's no way he's going to be able to get to the outside. And you can see this guy floats up, turns his back, meaning I'm going to have that sideline available to me. Now, this guy carries. I could always go and check it down to this running back route, but I'm going to take the more consistent of the routes with the open field. Now, on the back side, this is basically a man beater and a zone clearer for you. You're going to watch the slants, and if it's man, where this guy with the streak actually goes ahead and clears this guy out, if he turns his back, I know this deep comeback route based on that read on that side of the field should be available for me for an easy completion. Now, let's take a look off to the left side. And this is why I like this quick snap plays, because you can get a very easy read with the streak route and the deep comeback route next to each other. So we're going to watch this guy right here. You can see how this guy presses. That means he's playing a cloud flat, but he's not going to be able to get out to this comeback route in enough time because he's actually down here playing this guy. And this guy's playing a deep coverage. He's playing a deep third or a deep half, so he can't play this deep comeback route. So that's going to be available for you. With that completion. So this is a really good play. If you got a guy that runs a lot of man coverages, let's see if we get man. We've got this little crosser right over the middle of the field, especially if his user goes up to 3 wide receiver side. That will open up for you too. So love this play. It's really fast reads. You can leave the block and release. It just doesn't get out the same way, and I prefer the wheel route. So I really like to run this play more on the left hash opposed to the right. Now let's take a look at the fade smash play. Basically, I'm going to do the following adjustments. I'm going to go ahead and put a wing route over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a Beckham on it and a little hitch route, and that's going to be my first read. I'm going to go ahead and check to this little smoke route to see if that's going to be available for me for a read. So I'm just going to look at the defender that's over him to see what's going on with him. And if he pulls out of coverage and this guy pulls out too, I'm going to check it down to the flat, take the easy, 5 or 6 yards. I want to force my opponent to try to defend the flats, because if he plays hard flats, eventually this route will be wide open for you. And my next progression is going to be off the opposite side. Nobody carries. I'm going to do that. And I've also got this tight end route that's going to get really good separation. But really, this fade smash concept is really trying to focus on this side. So here you go. Man coverage with this, I'll show you what I'm looking at and then making my progressions from there. What I'm looking at is I'm watching this guy right here, and I'm seeing how this defender actually reacts to the smoke. Now, if he comes biting down, it's some type of hard cloud coverage, or it's man coverage. Then I'm going to look for this route, and you can see this guy's getting pressed down the line. There's no way to throw this. So now I know this is man read. And typically, what happens with this passing concept is this deep post by the tight end generally will get past the man coverage, and I can hit that for a big completion. If you got a guy that's running a lot of man coverages, one of the adjustments you can do to go ahead and make this a little bit more of a better play is that you can put a deep comeback route off to the right-hand side, because that second post really isn't really doing much for me, but that gives me like kind of another route that I can hit against my opponent against man coverage. So that's what you can throw in there if you're seeing man coverage on your reads. So we're just going to assume this is man coverage. And if we get the man read, we'll be able to hit that. Not available. We're just going to check it down to flats. So I'm going to try to hit flats from my opponent as much as possible, because that will eventually open things up for us. And right here, here's your man read. If he shows you a man read, you just basically hit that off the backside. Now, this route right here, which essentially is pretty much the same type of a concept. We've got 2 posts off the left-hand side. I've also got a crosser. I can leave the animation in and try to hit the crosser with the tight end if I can get the completion off. But what I do is I can do that deep comeback route on the back side right here and hit this. Now, the reason I do a deep comeback route is for the following reason. The deep post on this opposite side right here can open up for a huge play for you against the right coverages, and then against cover 2, this outside post can actually go ahead and open up for you. So it was an underthrown ball, but you can see how Beckham was over the top of his man. So we're going to go ahead and run this again. Hopefully we can hold our blocks, but see how this becomes a huge play opportunity where you can hit your opponent for some big yards. And conceptually, what's going on with this is that you've got this deep comeback route, which essentially is going to preoccupy a third. He's going to bite down, and then this crossing route is going to get past that safety and then get into an open area of the field where you can get a big completion. So I just leave this in here. This is not necessarily a spectacular play, but you can have this into your scheme to keep your opponent guessing. So let's go and jump into the next formation, which essentially is going to be this single back double south. Now, the single back double south is a really, really good formation. It has a great money play, and it's got a great other money play that you can use in the scheme, and then it's just a very good complement to this scheme. So here's your audibles. You got stick, you got halfback dive, you have to dig and up, and then you have the play action double cross. The only play we're going to keep in this scheme is going to be the dig and up, and this is going to be one with really glitchy routes that allow you to beat your opponent for man-on-man coverages and then also zone coverages and stuff like that. The stick, we're going to pull that out for probably the best play right here, which is going to be flanker spot. This play is this is a money play that you could run pretty much the entire game and just make adjustments and really drive your opponent crazy with it. Halfback dive, we're going to go ahead and swap that out. I could either put a draw play in, or the more effective play instead of the dive is going to be the halfback zone weak. Play action double cross, it's got nice crossing routes, but I think the crossing routes are a little bit too flat, and then the corner routes just don't bend. They don't get as flat enough on the corner. But this play action Y drag wheel, this is going to be your play action boot type play. So you want to throw this in because this is going to give you one play touchdown opportunities or huge chunk yardage. Now, if I was going to come out of the huddle, I'd probably either just do a draw play or basically a dive. And obviously, with the draw play, you're just going to go ahead and try to look for your holes because you can see that the offensive linemen and your blockers will get up to the next level, guys, if they're playing zone. The halfback zone weak works like just an inside tackle stretch play, and it gets really, really good blocking. What's cool about it, too, is you can flip it to the other side. So it just makes it really hard for your opponent to kind of predict where you're going to go with it. So if you get the blocking, you can sit here and just run between the guard and the tackle and actually pick up some pretty good yards. So this is a good play to use as your base audible. Now let's take a look at the primary money play, which is going to be flanker spot. There's a couple ways you can run this. You can run it stock. You can also run it where you put this C route into a curl route. Because that actually gives you a fast man zone read that you can use against your opponent, which is going to complement the stuff that's going off the left-hand side. But what really makes this play unique is that you have this guy over here that's on the flanker off the line of scrimmage. You can motion snap him and actually hit a little route underneath to pick up a handful of yards consistently and just show that to your opponent as you're scheming away against him. So we're going to motion slant this guy over. So we're going to go ahead and clear this guy out. And you're just going to throw underneath the coverages. So a lot of people like to use over-the-top coverages. They'll put their coverages at 10 yards depth or 15 yards depth or whatever depth they'd like to do. And this is going to just force your opponent to go and do that. If you leave him on the stick, he's going to stick out there for you. And you can almost like pinpoint exactly where you want to put that at. So just motion him out a little bit further out, let him settle. He's going to stick right basically kind of inside the numbers, inside the hashes in that little spot, and that's kind of like a little sweet area of the zone. Another thing you could do too is you can just put this guy on basically just a little hitch route just to catch him off guard. That actually will be another way that you can run this. Or you can streak him up and just go with the standard sail concept. So sail concept is basically a streak, corner, and then a swing or a flat route off the back end side. And what that does is just essentially gives you kind of like a high-low what you want to do with it. I'll show you that instant replay. If I would have waited a little bit longer than getting rid of that ball, that corner would have been available for me for a big completion. So you watch this guy right here. He was actually wide open. This guy's going to carry the coverages, so I actually probably could have low-balled that to the sideline and got an easy completion, but because I threw it already and the ball was already off to the running back, that's why the defender was playing it. So we're going to send it up again. And here's your sail concept where you can get the big play. So what's cool about doing the motion snaps out there, that's going to keep him guessing about it, or you can just go ahead and set it up the other way. Now, if you wanted to, you can run the play stock. You're going to have this guy who's going to stick on the back side, just basically underneath. So if he's running a lot of Mabel coverages, that might open up the middle of the field. Another thing, too, is that you've got the C flat concept off to the right. You can hit the C route if you run it consistently, and that'll open things up. But my recommendation, if you're going to focus on the C concept and leave it in, this is what I'd recommend doing. I'd recommend going ahead, taking your tight end and actually putting this guy basically on a streak route, and maybe dragging up woods on the back side and just providing yourself kind of like a high-low over the middle of the field. So that might be more of a better setup, because what happens is the tight end route essentially is going to clear out your zone for you. He's going to pull defenders out of the area, giving this underneath route right over the concept available for you. And then if you waited a little bit, if this guy was still coming down, this corner might actually come down and bite to this, and this C route is going to be available on the sideline. And because if there's a deep blue over here, he's going to have to compensate and carry with this deep over the top area. So let's just show it to you. Hopefully we get exactly what we're looking for. Let's see if we get the coverages that we're looking for. Here you go. So we're just going to go ahead and get a completion of the sideline. So that worked out perfectly for us. But I like this play just because it has you've got just a lot of great concepts that you can use. And just give yourself very easy reads, and you can hit your opponent on the inside and basically go ahead and tack them on the sidelines too with it. So that basically gets everything rolling for you. This is the other complement play that we're going to use. It's going to be play action Y drag wheel. I'm going to typically block all, and I might streak up my tight end or just leave him as is. And what I really want to do is I want to try to go ahead and double team the edge defender so I can get this route to carry. Really, it's just 3 progressions, the typical boot progressions that you have here, where you're going to basically go ahead and try to hit the crosser, and then essentially go from there. So let's just go ahead and block everybody. Let's see if we get the defense that we're looking for. Run it like so. Carry over. I got the underneath route, which is going to be your high percentage route, but you also have that deep crosser on the backside that actually you can hit. If you want to go ahead and confuse the defense a little bit more, what you can do is you can streak up your running back and try to go ahead and take away that deep crosser, and then you could put a slant route with Beckham. That gives you a fast read, but that's probably going to open up this route right here where you can actually go and hit that. So right now I'm just not getting the animation, and I'm getting some block sheds on the offensive line. Another adjustment you can do is you can go ahead and put this guy in a whip route or some type of a smoke route. I think a whip route is a little bit better, just because it will kind of give you an idea whether you can hit your guy over the top. But here is your opportunity for a huge play down the middle of the field. So that's one of the things you can do with this route. It's something I don't necessarily run. I don't depend on these play action rollout plays. It's just something I don't use in my scheme. But obviously, guys, you can see it as the meta is one of the things. Other play right here would be the dig and up. We're going to go ahead and block all just to give us some time. And really, we're going to run this pretty much stock. We're not going to make any adjustments. Let's go and slide out Woods. He's going to be our first read. But I want to kind of show you on how this route gets really, really glitchy with this release against man coverages and zone coverages. So let's just take a look at this route and why this is such a special route. We're going to motion this guy out. Once again, man coverages, he's going to come up, and then he's going to get outside release, where you can actually hit the sideline to get a nice little completion. But what's on top of this route is this basically corner and post. And the post route actually gets really flat and gets separation a lot of times, where you can get a nice little completion for 20 yards. You can see right here, we're at the 30, 20 yard completion. If I rack that, I could probably picked up some more yards. Against man coverages, this route right here will get inside and sometimes over the top of the man coverages, but this is a bracket coverage. It looks like it was probably some type of a cover 4, so these guys played it perfectly. So we're going to run this again. I'm going to block my guys. Let's watch Woods against man coverages. A lot of times he's going to get an easy completion because it's kind of a glitchy release. And if you wanted to build off of this and you have the ball off to the left hash, and you can put a wheel on the right side, you can go ahead and essentially go ahead and hit your opponent with the wheel flat concept out of the backfield. So we're going to go ahead and set this up and watch how that wheel really opens things up. So that's just another adjustment that you can do to just keep your opponent honest with it. But this has got some really good stuff as far as compliments. I don't know if we're going to get the man-to-man coverage. Let's see if we do. Okay, so here you go. Here's your one-play touchdown opportunity that became into nearly intercepted. But you could see how Beckham basically burned his guy. So if this guy's not putting a deep safety over the top, and he's running man-to-man coverage, maybe aggressive blitz, this might actually get the separation you're looking for. So look at this guy. Look at the separation. So he actually comes out, and then he turns up, basically takes this defender and stupidens out, and then I'm basically going to go and throw that ball. And because the ball wasn't thrown off to the outside of the numbers, this safety was able to go ahead and get in there and make a play at the ball. But you can see how if he's using the safety, or if he doesn't have this deep safety yet, or he's got a half out there, this route can turn into a huge one-play touchdown opportunity if you get the man-to-man coverage. So let's go and jump into the next formation, and that's going to be the single-back Y trips. All right, so the next formation we're going to take a look at is going to be the single-back Y trips. Once again, this is probably going to be one the other formation I'll be using a little bit more. You got a lot of great plays. We're going to run most of the plays almost stock. We might make one adjustment for the most part. These are going to be quick snap plays you can jump into. Stick is one of the audibles. We have the halfback dive. We've got 4 verticals and play action zone shot. I'm going to pull out basically this stick play and 4 verticals, and I might remove the running play too. So stick I'm going to go ahead and pull out for this particular play, which is Salem. This is probably one of the best plays in the game. 4 verticals, I'm going to swap this out for this particular play, which essentially is going to be the jet 6 soar. This will allow me to attack my opponent on the right side and have complement routes off the left. And then for a run play, I think it's probably a little bit better to go ahead and use this play, which essentially is going to be the zone weak alert bubble. This is a nice little, it's more of an effective run, and then you have the bubble option to throw off to the left. Now, out of the huddle, if I was going to use this formation, I might just use the stretchy alert X looky as my base play. So we'll call that just for the sake of this breakdown, but you can throw in other plays. And when it comes to this, when it comes to this play, all I'm really going to do is just see if a defender floats out for the inside slant route and throw that. If I have the numbers off the edge, I'll just go ahead and try to run, and hopefully these guys will hold their numbers, and I can do that. But I find that if I'm going to run the play, and I like to have this as an audible, I'm going to use this zone alert looky. I'll peek to the wide receiver off to the right. If the defender does not carry him, I'm going to go ahead and throw that little bubble route. That's just nice to have in my back pocket. And then I can obviously go ahead and just do this run. Probably should have ran on the inside because the center actually was getting some pretty good depth. But this is going to run that ball off to the left for you to basically pick up some yards. So let's go ahead and take a look at the passing plays. We have Salem, we have the jet 6 soar, and then we have play action zone shot. Salem is the great play, and what makes it even better is just doing one simple adjustment. We're going to take that slot receiver and put him on a whip route, and that's going to attack. It's going to allow us to attack our opponent in the flats on both sides with this play. We also have a deep out route with Beckham. We have a seam route by the tight end, and we have an in route, a dig route that's underneath the whip. Now my first area I'm going to look to is going to essentially be the seam route by the tight end. So that was actually, I should have hit the wheel, basically the whip route first. That was the smart read. But if I have the opening with the tight end, I'm going to throw that immediately if the areas open up and there's just a seam in the middle of the field. Now, this is something you can do maybe once or twice in a game, and then your opponent is going to key onto it. And then that's basically what you're going to do is you're going to open up the whip and the dig on the backside. So my first read is this guy right here. I'm going to take a look to see what happens with the coverage. You can see right here, this is a heavy blitz, but this guy's falling into the passing lane. He'll probably be able to get in there and actually take that ball. So then I'm going to look to this whip route, and that's going to be the next area I'm going to go to. If the defender comes down and bites to the whip, this dig route above that whip is generally going to get separation because it's like a route that kind of curves off and then comes in. So if I throw it early enough, I'm not going to get into basically a robber look. I'm not going to fall into a robber, and you're going to get an easy completion. And you're also picking up, 12, 15 yards on that completion, and it's just a fast progression. So we're going to set this up once again. Against man coverages, this little whip route is really, really deadly. And all you really want to do is you want to watch for that to open up. So it's just, basically, high-low type situation. And then you can always wait for this guy to completely carry across the other side if you just need some time. Now, off to the left, you have a table concept, and then you have a deep out. We're going to watch the deep out defender and see what he does with it. And then we're going to go ahead and check it down to basically the table if the table is wide open. So the running back did not get a clean release. But we're going to watch. If I get the flip of the back with the defender, a lot of times that route will be wide open. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. Once again, flip of the back, and you're going to basically hit that sideline right there too. So if he starts to, focusing on the 3 wide receiver side, you've got this as a nice little complement off the left. And then you check it down to the running back if nobody goes to the flat. So with the whip route and the table route going opposite directions, you're always going to be able to attack the flats. And then you have basically the C route, like a really flat C route against any type of man coverages you're going to be able to hit. And then you have obviously the seam route by the tight end that if he's not paying attention to, you can actually pop that. So this is going to keep your opponent. It's going to keep your guys outside, but you still can attack your opponent right over the middle. Now, here's the next play we're going to take a look at. This is going to be the Jet 6 Soar. And really what I'm looking to cup. He's going to give me determination on where I want to go with the ball. If it's man coverage, I can look to Woods on the deep comeback route and then Beckham over the middle or Higbee. If it's zone coverages, I'm going to be watching Higbee and Beckham. Those guys are going to kind of give me a read. So right here, and if I do get just a fast completion, if that seam opens up and the defender falls out of the area, I'm going to hit that seam too. So we're running this play stock. We're not making any kind of adjustments. And you can see right here, we're just going to go ahead and just hit that completion right down the middle of the seam. It does help when you have a really good wide receiver in that slot position. So you don't want to skimp on your guy. Now against man coverages, you're going to have basically your checkdowns from there. So I'm going to show you what I'm looking at in instant replay. So let's watch this guy right here. So he actually clears out his zone coverages, and he's picking the guy over the top. So I can't throw over the top. The seam is just taken away. Now I'm going to take a look at this guy. See how this guy kind of lets him come back? I know he's going to float back into this route, so I'm not going to go and throw that. Then my next progression is going to be this concept right here with this crossing route and this in route. This play is pretty much bottled up except for this guy right here. So the running back is available. So I'll just check it down and get my 5 or 6 yards and just try to keep moving the chains. Now against man coverages, this little crossing route by the tight end can turn into a huge play or first down. So you want to go ahead and just be conscious of that. And then also too is that this inside dig route will get available for you at the next level because most of the zones will actually clear out for you. Now, unless your opponent is using a lot of like zone drops and dropping people like 10 or 15 yards, especially with yellow zones, this route is going to get cleared out. And the reason why he gets cleared out is that you've got this guy right here clearing out the seams. He's going over the top. He's pulling up these deep blue defenders, and that means I can actually hit this guy in the backside. So previously with the other play, we were hitting the sideline over here, and we had that crosser coming from the opposite side. Now this play is actually working the inside, and then we have a deep comeback route that I could potentially look at to basically try to go and hit that. So this is a really, really good play that you can use. Let's see if we can come back to this route, but you can see how sometimes you might be able to get like a really fast guy. You can actually hit that seam for a one-play touchdown. if the guys aren't playing it correctly. And obviously man coverages, you can do this deep comeback route. That's the concept that we've used in some of the other formations. So let's take a look at the last play. Play action zone shot. This is a play that I use a lot. I do the following adjustments. I do an in route or out route with the running back and a deep comeback route. I'm going to look at the deep comeback route first. This is going to be my first read. And then I'll look to the flat with underneath with the running back, and then I'll look to the crosser and then the shot play over the top. So if I get man coverage, I'm going to go ahead and look to this route and take the completion, because if my opponent starts playing that sideline and trying to stop this concept, he's going to open up the stuff on the opposite side of the field, which can be huge plays. So you've got this crossing route right here that he might not be paying attention to if he's focusing on that out and deep comeback route. And then you sometimes will be able to go ahead and get basically Beckham over the top with the coverages. We'll see if these guys hold. There you go. So you can hit Beckham right over the top with that. So this is a basic play action zone shot play. This is a staple play that most players have been using online for years. But these are the reads that we're going to make. So let's see if these guys float up. It looks like it's cloud flat. So I can just go and check it down to this running back and just turn it up and try to turn it up for yards from there. So I love this formation. This is one of my favorite formations. It's just got a lot of great stuff. I can actually throw in additional plays into the scheme. But these are the plays we're going to focus on. Salem, the Jet 6 soar, and then basically the play action zone shot, and then throwing this alert bubble too into the scheme. So once again, guys, we're going to go and jump into the final formation. Now, the final formation we're going to take a look at out of the Singleback breakdown for the Rams is going to be the tray. The tray works like a lot of those trip formations, trip Y flex and trips tight end that most people are using for the meta. It doesn't have all the plays. It has 6 plays, but look, you've got a play action boot, which is similar to stuff that we've used previously before. We have a curl combo, which is a great quick snap play. But what makes this formation really make it great is this play, which is going to be a halfback stretch. I can flip this stretch play either way that you want to go. So our audibles is stick. There's a halfback zone, the curl combo, and the play action boot. I'm going to pull out the play, which essentially is going to be stick. I think it's a little bit redundant, and I'm going to replace it with the halfback stretch. But I'm going to leave everything else in place. Now, we could play around with the lookie. I don't think the lookie is that great. You might get, the blocking might be frozen a little bit, but you can't flip it. And also, basically, these routes, I don't necessarily care for these routes. There's just too many people in the area, and I find that the reads are not as easy. But let's go ahead and take a look at the running play. We have a stretch play that we can use to the weak side of the formation where the trip set isn't at. But what's cool about this stretch play is I can flip it to the backside where you've got 3 wide receivers, and that's going to give you basically blockers that are going to get to the next level against those defensive backs. So it's nice to have that as an option, and if you get around the edge, you can pick up some pretty good yards. So let's just see if we can go ahead and pop a run with this. We'll see if we're going to get something like that. So you can see how we got a pretty good run right here with my poor running stick ability, but you can see how I picked up some pretty good yards. Now, what complements this run too is we have a halfback zone weak, which essentially is running inside the guards and the tackles with essentially the same type of a double team type of stuff. So you want to run to the weak side of the formation. You can do that. With the running game. This is just a quick breakdown for you. I'm not going to go ahead and just pound runs just the entire time. But this allows you to get some pretty good running lanes for you. So if you guys use stretches and inside zones, obviously you can blood this into a scheme. Now let's go and take a look at the 2 passing plays we're going to look at. We're going to look at curl combo, and then we're going to look at basically play action boot. Let's look at curl combo. Easy, fast progressions that you can use against your opponent. You run these plays stock. I'll just show you my replay, or basically the instant replay, and what I'm looking at as far as my reads. I like to use curl combos in my scheme just because it just forces your opponent to go ahead and compensate for that. But all I'm really doing is looking to see if this defender comes out and floats out to the flat. If he does, a lot of times this is going to be an easy completion, and I can get rid of that ball even before he has a time to react to it. But also I've got similar concept. I've got a little hitch route right here. You got another hitch route right here, and I've got this running back route that's going to be pulling people out too for you. So you can go to the opposite side with this curl concept. If you want to get yourself a little bit better spacing, you can go ahead and take Woods and put him on a curl route, and sometimes depending on the coverages, that will be an easy completion just because of the spacing setup. I like when I do this, I do like doing a curl. I could streak the guy out, but I just find with a curl he's going to react to a quicker throw a little bit quicker, opposed to doing a streak. Sometimes the ball gets overthrown and whatnot. So we're going to go and do this. We've got the same concept off to the other opposite side with the running back. So same thing. You know, you got your flats. You got basically your curls that you can hit. If the defenders float up, you just go ahead and just check it down or just hit the little curls on the back side. So this is going to keep your opponent honest. He can't run just man coverage against you, because this will basically shred your opponent if you run a lot of man coverage. Now, play action boot. Same concept as before. Streak up your guy. Go ahead and block your running back. And then you want to put a route underneath it, which would be like a coop. And then basically look high-low. This is probably going to get a little bit better from a standpoint of the route right there. So just got a little block shed. Didn't double team my edge defender. So let's set this up again correctly. We're going to double team this edge defender so we don't allow this guy to slide through our cover, our protection. And then right here, you've got basically that deep crosser that you can hit against your opponent. So if he's giving you the check down, go ahead and take it. Just because that's going to he's going to have to manually take away that deep crosser. And you can always go ahead and play around with this play a little bit. You might be able to go ahead and hit that. You know, you could take this guy and slide him over, put him on a slant route. And that might be just give you a fast read to go and keep your opponent guessing. But he's going to have to basically be conscious of that crossing route in this scheme. So between basically curl combo, the running and stuff like that, this is a nice little complement to all the other plays that we're throwing into this game. So guys, we'll go ahead and jump into, I'll break down next basically a couple of shotgun formations for you to kind of close out this ebook. Hey guys, so I'm going to break down some of these RAM plays in the shotgun formation. We're going to be taking a look at our base formation, which is going to be the Y trips weak. Another formation I'm going to jump into is going to be the stack Y off week. This adds just a nice little run complement and just a quick some really cool plays that you can use against cover 2 and some man coverages and stuff like that. The other formation I'm probably going to break down is going to be the gun bunch offset. This has got basically some of the great money plays that a lot of the Madden pros use. So of course you have to use this, and what's cool about it is it's right next to the week, the trip week, and you can easily audible into this and access these plays with a flip. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the audibles out of the Y trips week. First and foremost, we have the Y stick halfback angle. This is becoming one of more of my favorite plays to use because that angle route by the running back gets crazy depth. It gets past the coverages. I got a halfback base for a run. You can put it inside zone, but we're going to leave it as a base. For verticals, we're going to swap out. For this particular play, which is really, really cool, is going to be the stick and nod. This is going to allow me to attack my opponent inside with man beaters and zone beaters. And then the play action read, I thought about leaving this in, but I'm going to swap this out for this particular play, which provides me a nice crosser, which is going to be the slot cross. That's going to get some really good depth for you, give you a man beater off to the edge, and then we're going to go ahead and complement this so we have zone and man beaters off to the right side. So it's going to stretch the field. So out of the huddle, if I was calling this play, I'd probably use either a draw play or inside zone. My personal preference is probably using an inside zone play. I find the blocking easier for me to personally read, but if you guys use halfback base, you want to do this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the passing play. So we have the Y stick halfback angle, stick and nod, and slot cross. Y stick halfback angle, we're going to do the following adjustments. We're going to go ahead and take our wide receiver on a 1st and 10 type of situation, put him at the sticks. Look at the depth of that stop fade. It gets up 20 yards. So that actually gives you a really easy read. You do want to throw that earlier before the stop, usually about 5 yards before the stop for Beckham's route. And then we're going to make our progressions off to the right. The flat streak concept with Kupp and Jefferson, I typically don't look to that at all. Really what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I get the single coverage, and then you can throw this a little bit early. So I pulled my wide receiver. Actually, I held on to that guy when I flipped onto him, so that's what happened with that. But let's just go ahead and see if we can hit it again. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to check it down to the running back based on if that's available to me. And I didn't like how that defensive back actually flipped. So I'm going to just show this to you in instant replay. I'm looking at this guy right here. So he kind of stays to the outside a little bit. He's got his back. That means he's either playing a deep half, and then I've got this guy actually coming up, going into the seam. So he's in no man's land, and that's where I'm going to go ahead and complete this ball to the running back. But really, we're going to be looking for the running back is over here. That's where you can get some big yardage and stuff. And see if we get the single coverage. We do. And you can see where the defender doesn't react to it, and what you can do is you can hit that for a big completion. Now, we're going to leave this guy stock. We're not going to move him. What we're going to do is we're going to look off to Higbee, see what happens with him. If he sticks, defenders float up, I'm going to go ahead and pop that guy. I was able to get several first downs with this play previously because the tight end doesn't get covered. And let's see if we can get this guy over the top. Here we go. This is the money route of this year play. Is this running back route doesn't get covered in certain zone coverages and stuff like that. It gives you fairly easy progression. So you're going to watch this guy right here, see what happens. Defenders stick on this guy. You just wait for this guy to get past the hash mark, and then you just do an outside pass lead right before the numbers, and what's going to happen is you're going to get a nice completion. And the reason why is that this guy's clearing this route out. He's pushing defenders up. He has to go ahead and push up too, and what happens is because you've got a flat guy down here at the bottom, it's going to give you a big hole in the coverage. So this is a really, really great play to go ahead and throw into your scheme. I love it just because it's a nice little play that you can tack onto it. Now, next play we're going to take a look at is going to be stick and nod, and basically how I like to run this is I'm going to take my running back and put him on a fly route. That's going to be my first progression. If I have a man read with Akers, then I know Kupp is always going to be wide open, and if it's also man and he's using away Kupp's route or the middle of the field, I always have Jefferson on a deep comeback route. But if nobody goes into this route, I'm going to go ahead and try to throw that. So I got baited by the CPU right there, but that usually is a high percentage area that you want to go with this particular route. I've got Beckham on a fly route. I can make an adjustment there, but if nobody goes out to the running back, I want to go and attack my opponent inside the numbers and force him to go ahead and defend that because you got all that other action going off to the right. So we're just go ahead and set this up. This looks like it's cover 2. Once again, nobody down there. We're going to go and pop that for an easy completion. So that's a harassment route that you want your opponent to try to stop. Now, let's go ahead and take a look on the backside with Kupp. A lot of times with Kupp, he will be available for an easy completion. So block shed, pressure right there. But let's just go ahead and see if we can hit Kupp for an easy completion. Man coverage, this thing will always get open, and you'll be able to go ahead and get a nice little completion because of the out and angle up by the tight end. That typically clears out the zone. And it's because of that underneath route will be wide open. Now, so if you have, like, if you anticipate basically this guy being covered up, or you've got a user back there, what you do have is this deep comeback route that you can hit. So didn't wait for that correctly. I'm just trying to force these plays right now. Let's just go ahead and take a look at this. Got this set up. Okay, single coverage. What's going to happen is you've got this deep comeback route that you can come to. So if the defender doesn't flow it out and he chases basically the whip route, you can hit that. Now let's watch Beckham. See how the guy's pressed off there? If it's single coverage, you've got obviously your shot that you can use against your opponent. You know, obviously you want to have your speed off the left-hand side. So that's just another thing that you can look at. Now let's go and take a look at the last play in this formation. It's going to be a slot cross. This is how I run this. I'm going to do the following adjustments. I'm going to do basically an in route with the running back, and basically have a deep comeback route. The first route I'm going to look to is basically the crosser to see if that's available. And with the crosser and with the deep comeback route, that basically flat route is going to be available to us. The problem with that route is that it does get across the field fairly quick. Okay, so once again, press coverage, single coverage, you might be able to get the shot up top. So similar to the previous play, you can get yourself a one-play touchdown if defensive back isn't able to keep up with your guy. Go set this up. You got your crosser with Coop on the back side right there. So you know, you can hit him over the top, and if he doesn't have a guy floating over there, you got your crosser. And then obviously with this figure play, you got basically the concept here with the underneath route with the running back, and the mesh concept with the tight end. So those are two checkdowns that you can hit against your opponent. And let's see if we can hit this last route, which is going to be the deep comeback route. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that. Let's go and see. All right, so we got no. Okay, so basically I should have waited a little longer. That deep comeback route was available because the defensive back went back up to the comeback route and then actually came down. But you know, here's your other check down that you can hit against your opponent. You could streak up the opposite side too if the guy keeps cheating off to the left. But with all of these different plays that you have at your disposal, it's going to be very difficult for him to stop because you're going to be attacking the inside. You've got basically you know, running back over the top. You've got a little spot route. You got the slot cross going off to the left. It's a very good encompassing formation to use. And then obviously your running schemes too. So let's go ahead and jump into the next formation. Now, the next formation we're going to take a look at is going to be the gun stack Y off week. And these are audibles. We have curl flats. We have the RPO split alert screen. We have the double corners and the jailbreak screen. This is going to be a very fast breakdown. I'm probably not going to jump into this too much. Maybe if I need a first down, it's a short yard and distances. The one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to switch out is the RPO split alert screen. And I'm going to swap this out with this play, which is the Rpo Trap alert screen. It's going to get a little bit glitchy blocking. Take a look at the run with the trap. Basically, it's going to get a little bit better blocking. This guy's got a little bit more depth, even though the guy shot it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one more time. So you can see how basically that actually is a bigger run for you. I'm not going to throw the screen RPO. I just don't like the stack RPOs. That's just my personal preference, but you know, it's something that you can use as part of your scheme. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about basically curl flats. This is a concept that I've been using a lot online. I like it a lot. So here's your setup. You're going to go ahead and streak up your wide receiver cup and actually go ahead and put a little wing route with the running back off the back inside. And what this does is it provides you basically a check up high and then a flat below. You can go to the opposite side with this too, with Beckham and Higbee. Let's just focus on the right side. So what you want to do is you want to try to attack the flat if the defenders float up. If they come down to the flat, that you want to go and look to the curl flat. So we're going to streak this guy up just to kind of clear things out for us. But if you get the one-on-one, this curl flat definitely gets really good positioning against any kind of man-on-man coverage, and you can get really crazy yards with it too. So let's go and see if we can get it again. And a lot of times with certain zone coverages, he'll be wide open too, because if you got that fly over the top of it, it makes it very difficult. Now, what's cool about this particular play is that you've also got a flat zone concept on the back side, so you can keep your attack balance on both sides. So that's really, really cool about it. Last play we're going to take a look at is going to be the double corner, and this is kind of a unique play. You can use this where you can use this for like basically kind of like cheesy yards. First and foremost, watch Coop. If a defender doesn't fall into his area, you can go and throw it really quick. If you really want to complement it, what you could do is you could take your running back and put him on that little streak route right there. that actually will give you a really good read, and then you make your progressions from there. Now, where this play shines is against cover 2. Watch these safeties. This guy falls back into a half, he falls back in a half, and then these guys right here, even though this guy's coming in and blitzing, this guy right here is playing a half right there. So he has to basically cover this out, and then basically cover this corner route. The way this play is designed is that it definitely gets past a lot of cover 2 coverages, and this corner route generally will be wide open for a big completion. So this is great. If you got a guy that spams a lot of coverage, cover 2, but he's not using any really crazy deep zone drops for his cover 2 shells, you can hit this for big yardages, and sometimes if you catch the ball in bounds, you might get a nice little move here against the safety and go house with it. On the backside, we essentially have the same type of a concept. We've got basically flat, and then we have a little C route, so that's available for you too against any kind of cover 2 shell. So we'll just go ahead and take a look at that again. So we streak this guy up. First read, obviously go ahead and hit the running back. If it's a very heavy blitz, you can hit that and get a nice little completion. If you wanted to, you could basically do this type of a concept where you could streak up your guy and put a in route by the running back, and that would just attack the other flat off to the edge, especially if you guys using a lot of man coverages for you. But really, I'm using this play on cover 2 type of situations more than anything else. If I anticipate my opponent to run cover 2, that's when I'm actually going to hit that. So let's go and jump into the gun formation and close this out. All right, so guys, the last formation we're going to take a look at is going to be the bunch offset. This is a really good formation. I wish they had a little bit better run plays because really it's all it has is the halfback draw, and that's the only run play that you have. But let's just go ahead and take a look at our audibles. We're going to swap out spacing stick, the halfback draw, and the verts halfback under. I really considered keeping the draw in, but I'm going to pull it out just because I want to be more pass focused. And we're going to leave this play here, the play action dig fork, in. The spacing switch, I want to swap this out for a really, really good play, and that play is this play, which is a curl flat. Conceptually, it's the same, but it really gets some glitchy clearance. A halfback draw, we're going to swap this out for this particular play, which is great for third down type of situations, and that's going to be this play, which is the smash return. And then the 4 verticals, we're going to swap that out for one of the OP plays that a lot of Madden players have been using for a long time, which is mesh post. All right, so the first play we're going to look at is going to be curl flat, and basically how I like to run this particular play is I like to go ahead and do a wing route off the left-hand side. Now, if I get single coverage, I'm going to go ahead and try to hit that curl flat concept off the left. You can leave the ghost route out there, but it's a little bit slower read against that curl. I want to be able to pull a flat defender down there a little bit quicker, so my read is a little bit more precise, and I don't have to worry about that. So, you can see how that guy actually comes out immediately. He can't get into that passing lane for that curl flat off the left. Off to the right is where things get really interesting. Look at the little hitch route, and then you have basically the corner route on the back side of it. So all we're really going to do with this is we're going to read this route off to the right. We're going to watch basically this wide receiver right here. Flat's going to pull down a flat defender, but we're going to look at this guy, and if he gets covered up by a zone defender, what that typically means is this corner route should be available for you. You just want to do an outside and down pass lead and take the sideline and hopefully keep your feet in bounds. Now, ideally, you want to have this ball off to the right hash, and sometimes you'll be able to hit this route with zones because the zones will come out. So this is about hitting those curl flats and just forcing your opponent to defend, that type of stuff. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at smash return. Smash return is a really good play. What I like to do is I like to take the red receiver. I want to go ahead and not have him in a mesh concept. I want to streak him up to clear out the zones. And if I wanted a little bit more of a consistent throw, I can do a wheel route on the backside. Now, what makes this play really tick is just sliding this guy out and snapping the ball, because this is going to give you just a fast whip route that you can complete a quick pass to. And it makes it very difficult to stop. So we're just going to go ahead and streak up this guy right here, motion him out. And now you've got basically an inside whip that you can complete that will clear things out. Now you can throw it you can actually leave it stock if you want to and not motion the guy out. You're just going to get the guy into the zone a little bit quicker, and that's going to get cleared out by those route concepts right there with the whip route. So that's what I like about it. Now, if you want to, you can basically use the wheel route with the in on the back side, and that's going to essentially give you a fairly fast and easy read based on whether it's man or zone coverages. So in instant replay, I want to kind of show you what I'm looking at. Basically, I'm watching this guy right here and seeing if a defender comes down in man coverages. If he comes down, I know it's single coverages just because he's out of the area. I know the dig route generally will get separation, and I can pick up a good 15-yard gainer from that. So looking to the whip will get cleared out, and that's going to basically give you a nice little completion. So if you motion the guy out, it gives you a little bit more time to make that read. So that's the advantage of doing the motion. I would probably go ahead and try to sprinkle it in with maybe another play. So I might motion out Jefferson with the curl flat concept, and that actually will probably open things up a little bit better for you. It might give you a little bit better of a read. So those two plays are going to kind of work off of each other. So let's take a look at mesh post and play action dig fork. These plays are definitely going to work off of each other. Mesh post, basically we're going to take our slot receiver at the point and put him on a slant. I'm going to go ahead and take my left of screen wide receiver and put him in an outs. And this is a money play that people have been using online for years. Motion this guy over. First read is going to be slant underneath, and then you've got basically the route on the back side, which is over the top of it. Let me just show you in instant replay what I'm looking at. My first read is going to be this slant, and I'm going to see if that's available for me, and then I'm going to try to throw that. If not, I've got this route with the running back, which was the right read. That would have got the best read. And then I'm going to look for this post on the back side. And if those are initially taken away, I can wait as I did in this type of scenario, and I just waited for this route to clear out where I can get a completion. But you could see the route that actually was going to get the best action right here is going to be the running back route, because he's going to catch it in a fly, and if I could pass this one defender, that could have been a huge play. Now what's cool about this is you got this wheel route right here, and that's going to be a big opportunity where you can actually hit that over the top. So if he's not paying attention, you can hit that for some pretty big yards. And then we've got Jefferson's route that will get over the top of the coverages that you can actually go and hit too. So let's go back to that slant, make sure we have that set up correctly. Sliding him over, he's on a slant. That's our first read. And here's your opportunity for a huge play with that deep post on the backside. So let's build off of that. So mesh post, basically we've got the concept, we get the little checkdowns and stuff like that. We're going to go ahead and use the play action dig fork to try to hit our opponent over the top and just catch him guessing a little bit. Same thing, we're going to block out everybody. We still got the play action animation. We've also got Beckham on a deep comeback route. We're going to slide over Coop on this side. This is where the guy's going to be expecting that that slant route. But now we got play action. But we've got Coop basically doing a crossing route, which is similar to most of those play action routes that a lot of people use. So this is what's cool about this particular play, is that you've got an opportunity to get some huge yardage across the field and just really keep your opponent guessing. So right here, let's see if we got it. Okay, so you see how the zone just gets completely cleared out, and that's going to be available. But what makes this play even deadlier is the backside action that we got going on. So I can always check it down to the running back if nobody follows him, but I want you to watch what happens with Beckham and Jefferson. Okay, against man coverage, I've got the check down with the deep comeback route, so he's going to have to try to lock that up, and that's going to be very difficult for him to do. But let's see if we can get Jefferson to open up for us. He might open up, we'll see. This looks like it's a cover 2 shell. No, here we go. And here's another huge play opportunity where you can actually hit the guy over the middle. So ball got a little bit underthrown. It should have been a little bit further out there. Let's go ahead and see if we can get it. Motion this guy over. snap the ball. Safety kind of dumbs out a little bit, and now you've got the crosser for a huge play touchdown opportunity where you can get your one play touchdown. So that's what I love about complementing this. We're going to have mesh posts. It's going to do a lot of underneath stuff, and then you're going to do the play action dig where you can hit the guy over the top. Got a crosser with the play action, curl flats, smash returns. It's going to keep over the inside too. So once again, guys, thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. I'm going to roll out some more stuff to help you take your game to the next level. Until next time.